Developed and originally published by Nihon Falcom in 2004 for Windows, Trails in the Sky is the very first game in the now massive Trails series. Now, 21 years later, in 2025, we're getting a full-on 3D remake of the first game, and it's called Trails in the Sky First Chapter, or The First in Japanese. Hello everyone, I am Astra, your adventuring bounty hunter VTuber who's a big fan of Falcom, JRPGs, and many more. Today, I will talk about why you should be excited for this game. Because this game is a huge deal not just for Trails fans, but for JRPG fans as a whole. So stay tuned, leave a like, subscribe and comment because your support greatly helps my channel grow. Now without further ado, let's get into the video. Trails in the Sky First Chapter is here to reclaim the spot as the definitive starting point for the series. Because for a long time, people have debated, where should I start with Trails? Should I start with this one? With that one? And always, Trails in the Sky FC, which is the original version of this game, as well as Trails of Cold Steel 1, are always said to be the best starting points. Although I have seen people start with either Crossbow games or even Daybreak games. So yeah, you can technically start anywhere you want, but if you want the best experience, it's always good to start from the beginning. So what makes Sky so special? Well, it's the beginning of this grand interconnected narrative. Later games will have returning NPCs that will talk about these events, side storylines. Like there's one recurring NPC that is always coming back every other arc, and starting with Sky, you will learn why he's always coming back. Without the events of the trilogy, we would not have the other games. That's why they are so important. Secondly, starting with Sky means you get to see the evolution of the gameplay. It starts one way, it goes from another system, the system evolves, continues to go up and up every new title, and now, I think it's the best it's ever been. And thirdly, Bestel is Bestel. So why did so many people start with Cold Steel? What's the deal here? Well, it's basically down to how it was heavily marketed. Falcom asked Exceed, the localization team, to bring over Cold Steel over previous titles. So it's the reason why the games Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure were not localized, and were stuck in a limbo for ages. And also, Trails of Cold Steel was basically a school sim like Persona. You had bonding events, a very relatable protagonist such as Rin, and it was just chill vibes, just like Sky. The difference is that Cold Steel was 3D, so many more people look at that one and thought it to be more interesting. Now that we're talking about why Sky is so important to the series, let's talk about why it is such a big deal. First off, obviously the game is in full 3D. We are seeing Liberl and its cast shine in a whole new way, with visuals that match what Falcom has been doing in the latest entries. That is honestly gorgeous stuff. I'm still a sucker for the original 2D. There's a charm, there's a soul there that it's kinda matched, but it's good to see 3D as well, because it's a whole different perspective. Feels fresh, but familiar at the same time. That's why I like this. There are also the voice acting. The original had some voices for battle voices, but it was not dubbed. Now the game has a full English dub alongside the Japanese. The Japanese had Japanese dub before with one of the special versions for the Vita, which only have in Japan. And I have listened to some of the English voices and I think they're great. There are some voices that I really like, there are others that I'm a bit okay on. I will still play with Japanese voices because I have always only played JRPGs with Japanese voices, with some exceptions. But I don't think there's a definitive version to experience. You pick one you like most and just go with it. And I assure you, you are in for a great time because the voices on both sides are great. And what I'm most excited for, the remake is basically a way for new fans to get into the series, because I will still recommend the originals because, like I said, there's a charm of their own, but there are people who play the remake because they prefer the whole 3D thing, there's English voices, there's a lot of quality of life features, so it's easier to recommend the remake over the originals. But of course, if you have an interest, always go back to the original, see how it started, see why it's so great. That's my challenge to you. If you like Trees in the Sky first chapter, go try the original. You will not regret. I talked about graphics and gameplay enough. Now let's talk about the real aura here. The characters, the world, the story, so much stuff that I could talk about for hours and hours and hours, but let's get things started here. The protagonist Estelle Bright is one of the best protagonists in JRPGs I have ever seen, period. She's so much fun. She's seeing how she starts as this hothead, this stubborn girl who's always picking fights with other people, and how her relationship with others is so much wholesome and fun. And of course, she has her partner in crime, Joshua. He's basically the moon to the sun. He's the sun and he's the moon, and the relationship is so, I can barely put into words, even in this first game. It just, the relationship, it's so damn good. I am just repeating myself because I can barely find words. And moving on from these two, we have the world building of Trails. I know people probably sell you the world building as one of the best world building JRPGs, and they are not wrong. Trees in the Sky has NPCs where every chapter, their dialogue changes. There's a major event that occurs and their dialogues will change. And even in side quests, there are side quests that expands multiple games and you see NPC growth. It's honestly impressive. And that's why I think that this remake will land for both newcomers and veterans like me. Because like us, we get to see all of these storylines again in a different vision, a different perspective, and we get to experience Peak again. And newcomers will see what we have been talking about for years. Some of the best character developments. I mean, of course, it's just the first game, but the second game pays off very well. But I hope the remake comes fast for this one. Or if you get hooked in, because I know you will, you can try playing Sky SC right away. Of course, I recommend you to start with FC, but I'm sure that this remake will leave you dying for the sequel. Trust me. So, to wrap it all up, Trees in the Sky, the first chapter, is not just any remake. It's a remake of a grand, magical series. And for both old and new fans, it's going to be a whole new experience that I'm sure everyone will enjoy. If you've been wondering where to start Trails, this is your best time to do it. But don't miss out, because it's Peak, it's Goat, it's Raw, Fire, you name it. I'm going to try streaming this game in the future when it releases, so keep an eye out. I'll continue covering Trails in the Sky first chapter, Nihon Falcom games, and many more things in this channel. So subscribe, leave a like, and comment down below your thoughts on this video, on this game, this remake. What are your expectations? What are you looking forward to? I'll read every comment and I'll reply. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Astra, and I'll see you soon.